Hello everyone, my name is Amos Nimas and welcome to this stream. Is everything working? Is the sound working? Do we have video feedback? I don't know. It seems to be working fine. So let's go back to ChatGPT. Now I feel like it's almost like I can't code without this thing, but I can. It's just that it's way simpler. It's like having Google open on the sides. So I'm not gonna justify myself for using it, but I'm gonna use it for this project because it's a very big project and I do it alone. So if I can get just a little bit of help, it's fine. It's fine. So V2, V3, those are the version I got so far, and now I'm working on implementing features for version 2. These features include selecting the enemy and other such things. So what I'm gonna do is open both files at once so that I can, copy stuff around. Version 2 is fine, but it's not perfect. It doesn't have all the feature that the first version had. But one of the feature it has is the option to flee, which I like. It's a nice option to be able to not have your Digimon-like creature die in battle. It won't necessarily be called a Digimon, but who cares? Also, I'm not really used to how I split panes vertically, but that could be useful to get like the chat at the same time. But right now I think I'm just gonna steal the chat because I should just plug in my other screen. But yeah, that's probably what I should do so that I can have the chat on one side and the video on the other side. But I don't have people watching so far, so it's fine. It's fine. Who cares? If you want me to react to the chat, just tell me in the chat and I'll do it. I'll place the chat on another screen and all that. But if you want to focus today on the code aspect and the transparency, I just hate it. I just don't like it right now. So I'm just gonna quit and change the opacity. And I totally forgot the command to start another terminal from the current terminal. So I'm just gonna, I think it's shell. I think I said it's shell, and that should start a new. Yeah, but it's not the one I want. I want kitty from here. To launch child permission denied. So maybe sudo kitty boom disown. How do you disown something? First of all, disown bash. The disown command, I totally forgot how to use that command. So that's a way to do it, I guess. Yeah. I guess like there's the. How the hell do I use the disown command? Disown R to remove only the job currently running. Use the following command. Yeah, no. I wanna pipe that to disown. I don't know. I don't use that command enough, so I'm just not gonna use it and see if that works. Enter. And I can't start a new kitty shell from that kitty shell, and I'm a bit confused by that. And what I can do is just pwd. I'll call this, I don't know what to call it, history, last history, lh log. Just pwd.log. That sounds fine, and I'll place that into my home directory. So /pwd.log, and by doing that should have been fine. Now I can close the terminal, reopen a new terminal that does not have the transparency, and from there I can just move that out of the way and make it bigger. See, that I'm getting used to. But I should probably take some time to get better at like placing stuff around. Like vertically and all that. So can I just, let's say I wanted to take this as its own window. It works. That's where I wanted it. But now I don't have that much space for ChatGPT, but who cares? Like that's fine. That's fine by me. I can work with that. And at least now I got the chat. So that's fine. Fine by me. So if somebody starts watching the video, just tell me something in the chat so I can know that somebody's watching the video live. Otherwise, people will watch this video later and it doesn't matter. So I'm there, and I just want cd to cat pwd.log And that worked well. That worked so well. I think I'm gonna start doing that more often to save my sessions and all that. I could use Tmux. I could learn Tmux. That's an option. Tmux is good. Tmux is fine. I love Tmux. I'm a big fan of Tmux. We should actually, as a matter of fact, I should start a Tmux session right now. Other composite manager is already running. So see, that's something with Tmux. So it doesn't like that. It doesn't like it being its own thing. So I'm not yet used enough to it to use it. So let's just open both file and see the difference that we have here. So sword equals sword, shield equals shield, potion equals potion, which is kind of dumb. What does that even mean? So are we like creating a base stats, base sword to give to the creature? That's V3 that already gives it like a sword and stuff, while the first version had us with nothing. So here we take them. See, we pass it a sword and stuff here. So I'm just studying what ChatGPT is doing at this point. For this part of the game development, I'm just doing that. And that's fine. That's totally fine. I feel it is. So now I just want to see where we pass it, where we create our creatures. So here we generate the creature name. Here we generate the enemies, which is all fine. Select enemy. That's cool. Heal creature. That's also cool. Display stats. That's cool. Game menu, that's also cool. Battle, so where do we create the initial creature? So first of all, I just want to look here at the battle process because I want to update something. So this one doesn't have the option to flee, but maybe it had other stuff that I liked. So battle, that's the battle process here. So let's compare both. I think that's a good idea. Actually, one cool way of comparing it would be to place both function in a different file and then using the compare command. There's a command in Linux that allows you to compare two files, but I forgot how it's called. So here we have like the more Pokemon-esque aspect of this wild creature appear, and here's is stats, and here we have battle begin between. Here you have like, I guess, your creature and the enemy creature. So here you don't have as many info because the info are gonna be printed below, but I don't mind if it's printed on top, to be fair. And I don't mind this way of saying like, oh, the wild creature appears. That's kind of neat. I like that. So I'm just gonna keep that. First of all, let's keep both. Both are fine. Both are good. So select self creature HP, whatever is larger than the creature HP. So while both are alive, basically. So we could have a if alive, alive. What does it mean to be alive? Is just that if your HP is above, return true. So that could be fancy. If we want if I want to flex that I can code, we could probably, can we define a function within a function inside of a class? Like, that'd be fancy as frick. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Def alive means, and we take a creature, and what you do with that is you simply do if creature dot HP is larger than 0, then you can return true. So that means that it's alive. So return. Do we go with true or do we go with 1? 1 is fine. I like 1. It's more minimal. It's the initial official boolean. And here we can have an else statement and say return false. So here, instead of all that, which isn't very pretty, what you can do is, first of all, I don't like to have to type self every time, so let's just say that creature equal self.creature. So that way we can say, you see, that's looking better already. So I can do alive, and then I can type creature. So ain't that better? And here you can do like enemy. Oh, wait a minute. So here, so those don't work the same. Here we have like, it's part of a class, but here it's an array. So we have the enemy array that we create. but I don't really like the fact that it's an array because I can't use my beautiful alive function anymore. What do you do in these cases? I mean, I could still just use the alive function for the creature, but that'd be kind of disappointing. I just want to make the enemy not be an array. Can it be like its own thing? Like here you have the generate enemy. Okay, I think we have that twice, right? Generate enemy. Yeah, we have that twice. So we have the generate. Let's just confirm that. Generate enemy. So yeah, there's not only one version of this function. So this one, generate enemy consonant. That's generating the name and all the stuff, and it returns it as an array. So instead of generating the enemy as an array, let's just ask ChatGPT. So instead of returning the enemy as array, would it not be better to return, to make the enemy a class, like the enemy class, for example, similar to the creature class. Do we have a creature class? First of all, do we have that? Yeah, we do have a creature class. So we have here, like, could we use the creature class for, like here we have the player and the creature, which are different. There's different things, like enhance item, like those are all the action that the player can take, and here are the action that the creature can take. Or even better, could we use the creature class for the enemies too? How about that? That'd be smart. That way we only have one class for the enemy and for ourselves. Yes, using the creature class for both the player and the enemy would be more efficient and would avoid code duplication. You can add enemy specific behavior, blah blah blah. We don't want that. So what does the enemy has that we don't? And is alive, that is cool. It guessed that I would want that function here. That is a nice function. And do we have the is alive function for our player, for our creature class? No, we don't. So creature alive, attack, take damage. So basically what we want to add is this function right here first. So what's cool with that is that we use the same processes for both the player and the enemy. So both player and enemy can get attacked, take damage. So that's going to be useful. I don't like how it's called is alive instead of just alive. You know, make more sense to me. I don't know. Just it's cuter. It's cuter. I prefer it that way. It looks better. Still nobody watching this stream. I'm gonna put the default based on the ugly thumbnails. So let's go Tamagotchi, and put an image of a Tamagotchi toy. Instead, open a new tab. Can I just getting image? It's sometimes you have to open so many tabs just to find. Oh yeah, that's the image I want. Thank you, Amazon, for this beautiful complex software. Tamagotchi character. I prefer them when they're not graphical. I prefer that. Is the microphone too close to my face? I don't know. Let's just inspect that thing. Adblock Ultimate. Add on this side. Yeah, I just wanna. Yeah, no. That's the thing. I don't want to block. Add on that side. I wanted to block this thing right here. Okay, so add block automate. Block add on this side, and I want to block this thing. Does that work? Because I hate it. It looks ugly. I don't want to see that. It's just not pretty. So Tamagotchi. This one is nice. I like this one. So let's copy the image, save the image. Web peg. Of course it is. I love web peg. Damn, it's fun to be pegged all over the internet. That's not, that didn't came out the right way. But yeah, web peg. Damn, I hate this format. I do sincerely from the deepest part of my heart hate this format. So download. Where I have an anime file, whatever. Let's put that there. And yeah, no, I'm brave, very brave. So let's pick this here. Change the image, because that image wasn't good enough apparently. That image wasn't good enough. How about this one? That's the edited version that I made. I did this edit, so I started from this that I generated with AI, and I made this from it because the game was called Coin Arena, and it made more sense. So that's from Serial Experiment Lane, that picture, because I'm creating another game, haha, but I'm not gonna talk about it. But it's related to Serial Experiment Lane, so that's why I downloaded this image as a placeholder. So in downloads into animes, we are supposed alt file, even the unsupported ones. Does it work? Does it have to be a JPEG, PNG, WebPeg? You really can't do anything with that. Like at this point, I don't care about the thumbnail. It's just gonna stay the same. So if people don't want to watch a video, they just don't have to watch it. They just can not watch it. That's an option. So yeah, here we stole the this thing. We have the attack thing already working. So the attack thing would be self.power plus sword power. So this is assuming that even the enemy has a sword. And initial power is also what the enemy has, and I think that's fine. I think that's totally fine. So if you give only the enemy power, it will still be able to attack you, and your creature can have initial power plus sword power, which means that you can fight enemies that are stronger than you, and if you defeat them, you can win them, like in Pokemon. Yeah. Monster game. Base monster whatever battling game. Can I make that even smaller? Like I want to focus more on the chat. No, wait a minute. I want to focus more on the code and have the chat right there in this small little window at the bottom. But yeah, so far not so good. People aren't watching this video. Is this video even public? Is the title so bad? Making Pokemon without graphics. Let's try this kind of title. A little bit of clickbait never hurt no one's. It's making Pokemon game. Pokemon like game without graphics. And the image is just, if people don't like it, I will change it. So if I go into the pictures, wallpaper, I only have my wallpaper in this folder. So let's just put a random, I don't know, something to no, I don't know, that won't work. Pokemon, just steal that image. That's good. Save image. It's a PNG. We did it. It's a PNG. I can just steal that. I needed any images that wasn't this one. So untitled.png, that's great. And that's how you accumulate trash file on your computer. By not giving them name, putting them in random directories, and then having to deal with it. So we have one viewer, I think. I don't know if the viewer is still active, but you can talk to me in the chat below. And yeah, I am actually making a game similar to Pokemon, but in the terminal on Linux. I know, very cool stuff. So here we have the options to say that we start with the sword, shield, and potions. Yeah, potions. I know that doesn't sound like the Pokemon game, you know. I know that Pikachu ain't fighting with a sword, a shield, or a potions. Did we lose our viewer? I don't know. Still unclear. As long as people aren't talking to me in the chat, I assume I have no viewer. That's just how my brain works. So here we decided to make the enemy be use the same class as the player. So here we had like this creature class, and here we have the generate enemy function, which very important. It generates the enemy name, but see, it's like this part that generates the name. Okay, we want that separately. The function to generate that, I think I already have it separate here. So if I look at our function, we have select enemy, heal creature, fight a live battle, generate enemy. So we don't have yet a separate function to generate the names. which by default our creature is called Tama, which is cute. It's short for Tamagotchi. I almost want to keep that. That's very cute. That's very nice. But I want to also generate a random name for our initial creature, because that'd be cool. But I really like that it generated Tama. That's a very cool name. So creature, create creature. So that creates our initial creature. That's fine. I don't have anything to say about that. I want to have the same values every time I generate a creature, instead of generating, you know, different creature with different stats every time you play the game. You will be able to capture other creatures. That's why it doesn't matter your initial stats. And yeah. So the function to generate the creature's names should be separate and could be included within the creature class. How classy would, I don't know how to spell it today. How classy would that be? Hey, think about that. I'm outsmarting ChatGPT. So, you know, ChatGPT is doing the coding today, most of the coding, but I am doing most of the thinking. I am deciding that this function should be within the creature class, so that, you know, every time you create a creature, even for you or for the enemy, you know, you don't have to use an external function. It's all within the beautiful creature class that is getting more and more complex as we go, which is not really a good thing to get complex stuff. Simplicity is what the genius reveal, while complexity is what the idiots, the stupid people like. Stupid people like complexity. I don't like complexity because I am not stupid. You should reveal, I don't know, whatever. Is alive is very nice. Generate type name, that's the part we wanted. So it's a class method. So that's something I've never seen before. And I'm gonna have to ask ChatGPT to teach me, and it's gonna teach you at the same time. So we're gonna learn together. That ain't that fine, ain't that nice. So explain that shit to me. Explain that to me. What it is and what it does and why use it there. That is my question. I am actually curious to know. Did we lose viewer by changing our new image? Was the title not good enough? I don't know. So, class method. Feedback is always appreciated. Difference between class method and static method. Instance, method, regular method like init, yeah, operate and on an instance of the class and can modify the instance state. The first parameter is always self. Class method can modify the class level data shared by all instances of the class. The first parameter is CLS, referring to the class, not an instance. I am confused. Static methods. So by doing it like that, in this case, using class method for generate name allows us to generate a creature name without needing to create an instance of the creature class first, since name generation doesn't depend on any particular creature instance, but rather on class level data like consonant and vowel. Class method is more appropriate. Hey, if you say so, Bonzo. So here, instead of name, we want, if I go back to look at the code that it gave me, I'm gonna guess that name now by default is gonna be equal to none, because now you don't have to give it a name. Ain't that amazing? I know. We learn things every day, folks, every day. So if there's no name given, which I guess is gonna be in most of the cases, you give it one. You generate one from the self function. Ain't that cool? That is very cool. I know. So this version that has a shield and whatever takes them from argument as optional. But the potions, where's the potions? You know, where's my potion at? You know, potion represents. I'm just gonna put that there and hope it works. And here I'm gonna put potion equal none. How good is that? I know, I am very good coder. A lot of talking, not enough coding. I know. take damage, that's all fine, that's all fine. Generate enemy. So now what we do is just we generate the creature by returning that, and that is so much cleaner. Look at the difference that we are gonna get. Instead of this ugly mess, say bye bye and say hello to new enemy. Generation, how more clean does that look? This is beautiful. This is art at its finest. So I'm just gonna paste the older. Okay, sorry when I type multiple times on the key. Just I can't teleport. Okay, I often forget that I can do that. And in this case, it just didn't work anyway. I just want to get there, and it just didn't want to. So poof. Wait a minute. Start a selection. Move down. Move down. Boom. Okay, so that's what I wanted to do with skills, with Nano text editor, with the best text editor out there, except that it doesn't support code folding because it sucks. I know, that's just a feature I wanted. I wanted one feature. I asked for one feature in my whole life. I asked for a single feature, and they told me to use the other Ellipse thing called Emacs. I don't wanna. Emacs is too bloated. And I know, like, that's the point. I was asking for a feature when the point of Nano is to not be bloated, but it's a text editor. And most people like me nobody uses it for coding. Actually, I'm the only one on the planet that use Nano text editor for coding. But yeah. So here we generate the random enemy, which, fair enough, but not. Let's just say it'd be like something less times level. So 1. So I'm kind of confused on how this should be based on the player level. So could you make these value increase as the player level does? Make them based in some way on the player level, but in a balanced way. That is exactly what I want. I want them based on the player level, but in a balanced way. Yeah, it's gonna be hard. I know. That is gonna be the hardest part yet. Just the part I asked it for. Also, you put the generate enemy within the creature class, which I mean, would work definitely, but yeah, you know what? I don't know why I didn't do it like that. Now that I think about it, it's crazy that I did not think of that sooner. But now I need to do like creature that generate creature. How's that work? Just what? Do that again. Do that again. I am curious. What you're doing? That's interesting code. We took differently approach now. So that's another approach to approach this. So the formula area is right here. So here we create generate name, blah, 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 generate the enemy. And that's where you get like the, that's another class method because it's within the same class. So that would go before the init. Do we have even an init? Yes, we do. It's here. So the class method goes before the init. Did not know that. I'm learning. I am learning. Now we have the generate enemy right here, and we can generate an enemy from the enemy class. How cool is that? So yeah. And the player level, and we base that on the player level. That makes sense. That's cool. That's all fine and dandy. And yeah, I think that should work. And generate name. So because we do it like that, the initial name it gets replaced basically when we create an enemy. But I just think that the AI isn't understanding what I wanna like. I want the player to have a custom name too, so it's fine. It's all fine. So generate enemy by default will give it a random name. No matter what, if you create an enemy, it gives it a random name. So I'm just gonna ask it maybe how I use this function right here. So instead of generating the enemy like this, how do I do that? So generate the enemy was something I would use in battle, in fight. Fight, that is the part where you, what does fight do? Generate the enemy, a wild blah blah appears. So we don't no longer have that need to generate the enemy during the fight, because we generate the enemy during enemy selection. Yep. So we should have an enemy, select enemy right here. And for enemies and enemies, so that's the part I want to work on. So that's the part to update. Part of the code to update, to use the built-in generate creature, generate enemy function from the creature class, like this. And we ask for some help. And we have two options. Which will we pick? Which will we pick? Actually, I want that on a different screen to get a better view of what it's doing. So here it's making a lot of weird stuff. So no. Yeah, select enemy is not. Yeah, so that's just a function that's within the game function. Self player equal, like, do we have even a class game? Do we have a game class? I don't even think we have a game class. Do we need a game class? I don't think we do. But yeah, that's the part that saves player level, generate enemies, blah blah blah. So I don't mind having a game class that has these functions. So instead of having them all within, what was that within? That was within player. So it was the player class that would handle all that. So here we can start by generating 5 enemies. That's a good starting point. Inventory is empty. That's also a good starting point. So here we can use the player level. Player level should be 1 by default. So here we have like the player level variable. What? But our player is already supposed to be having a level. No, we aren't. The creature has a level, but the player doesn't. So should we follow the player creature level in that case? Yeah, so I think that we're going the wrong way here. So creature equal that. So that's our creature, and that's for our enemy. So we have enemies here, and we have the creature here. So it would be like self.creature that level. So we want level of the player creature. So self.creature that level. So currently I'm making the game for a single creature, but we could have more creature in the future. I just don't like. I'll work on that later. But for now, let's keep it simple. Right now, I'm just overcomplicating stuff, and I don't like when I do that. But you know, we also want to have a fun game, right? So instead of create the creature blah 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 with a name, we don't even need to give it a name. It's just gonna give it one for us. And so we have the creature, self-create creature, and instead of that, we don't need a function. We could just create the creature from here and one function that we don't need, and that is create the starter creature for the player. So we could almost call this one like the player creature, active creature. I don't know. But there's a difference between creatures and enemies creature, but both are based on the same class. So that's what can be confusing. And when I look at this here, I just want to take a look. Like, do I even need this generate enemy thing right here? So these are the functions that create the value that allows us to here generate enemies as creatures. So we have HP, power, and level, and return the creature. So we can still use that. Like, I don't mind using that instead of using a function within the class, which has no reason to be there. Boom, because I want to keep these function organic. So what is a creature? What can it do? And can it create itself? It's weird. It doesn't, like, fair enough. The generate name could have been outside of the class, but since every creature is going to need to have a name, I think it's fine that it's optional that it will generate one automatically. I could also make it so that you can give a name to your creature when you start the game. You can rename your creature. That could be cool. That could be a cool thing that you can always rename them, which I can already add the feature right here. So and I could use the rename function in there, but you know, a very simple not creature, but concept. I'm just gonna steal this thing right here. So yeah, that's the thing I want. I'm just gonna steal that, bring that here, and you know, that's the part I'm a bit confused about when using tiling. Like, how do I move this one on the same panel as this one? How do I make them both be on the same panel? That I don't know how to do. I will admit it, I don't know. I didn't meant to do that. But, oh, wait a minute, that could work. It's a dumb way of doing things, but as we say, if it works, it works. Okay, that worked. So now I have the chat and how many people are watching, which is currently 0, which is sad because I'm putting a lot of work in this video. Should get more views. Maybe the thumbnail wasn't that good. I don't know. Live rename. That's a good function to have. Like, that way you can do self.name equal new name. So this is going to take a name and make name be equal to that. It's easy, you know. It's not hard coding. And here we have the function to generate a name. So we already have that, and that is going to automatically make the name equal the generated name. So I can probably say, let the player use that function whenever to generate a new name if I wanted to. So I'm trying to keep things modular. So this part here, I just want to work a little bit on the battle process, because one thing I don't like at all is this. So actions, instead of having to type attack every time, that is kind of annoying to do. I think it's better to just use AF for attack and flee. And the way you would display these options is your action is attack. So A equal attack. It's getting there. A attack. A attack, F flee. That's clear enough, I think. And let's put them capitalized because they look better when they are capitalized. Those are your two only options when fighting, really. So that way you can flee at any time and heal your creature. I also want to add a shop, but that's for later. So here we generate the enemy, and since we have a function to generate the enemy, we will no longer need that. I don't need to generate them in advance. I no longer have the function in the class to do this. So it's just gonna be another empty array. And I can confirm that here in game. So this one has a game class, the other had a player class. I think it's less confusing for me if I call this the game class. And here, if I go down, I have like player equal player. Just call it game equal game. So I'm trying to make the player almost be the creature, and you're like an overseer. That's how I envisioned this in my head. So here you have the class for the items, which I don't even think I have here. The item class. So I have the game class, creature class, no item class. When it's very simple, items are very, very simple. They can't have their own class. It makes sense for them to have their own class. So they have a power, a name, and the type is separate. What? Like, I don't even think the creature needs, the items need really to have a name. It could be more that it has like a type and that's it, like a shield, a potion, and you already know what a shield does, what a potion does. But I don't know. For now, let's keep the name and type. Okay, I don't mind. So it has the init here, and we don't even use types. Why not use the type self dot type equal type? And I really need to think about what the items do, because they all have a value, but they don't use it the same, you know. And should I have all the options of type of items inside of the item class? What would be the benefit of that? Like, it doesn't really have any benefits from that. And again, I don't know why I don't make the type and the name be the same, so that if you pick up a shield, it'd be a shield called shield, you know. But the name maybe allows us to change the value rarity of the drop for the item, which is kind of good. I think I'm going to keep it that way, separate. The name for the item and the type of the item, not the same thing. So here we have the creature, we have import random, which I guess we have on both versions of the game. And this version, do we have a viewer? Do we have 3 views? Yeah, but not 3 viewers, 3 views. These people don't stay. I mean, if you have questions, the chat is there, it's open. Yeah, I'll try to answer them the best I can. Maybe they're starting the video from the start, and they don't think it's that interesting. So, now, where are we? So we have the enemies, but where are we generating them? So I think it should be into the list enemy function, which should be right, select enemy here. So that's the place where I think it'd be smart to generate the different enemies. So let's say we are playing, we choose actions, and here we say we want to fight. So self fight. That's how it works with this one, and with the other code, when we select action for select menu, select enemy, where are our action? Train enemies, display stats, which is always useful to have. Do I have that here, the display stats? Like, the display stats should work with both the player and the enemies, so that I can reuse that, you see, not having bunch of functions like I currently start to have. So your creature, blah blah blah, creature name, HP, level, power, coins, and you know, that's the thing, creatures don't have coins, and so the coins, where are they located? Coins are right here, so that could be our player class. Like, that'd be smart to have the inventory and coins maybe be something for the player and not the creature that the player plays with. And maybe our creature shouldn't have a level, maybe it's just the player levels that increase, but I don't care. So, but it doesn't make sense for me to have only that, you know, only the coins be in a player class. So unless I have more stuff that will be for the player. Like I'm just gonna pretend the player is here. Player. So that's the player stuff. So player creature. Also, let's not forget that this. What am I even doing? That this line is for creating the player creature inventory money. So here is our player inside of game. So game coin. So yeah, and that's the thing with the status thingy function. Display stats. Should it not display the amount of coins? Like, where are we using that? Self that displays. So every time we look at our menu, that's how we know how many coins we have. But shouldn't the coin be part of the player inventory? So that way we can like save space maybe. So if I look at our inventory, it's just an array. So we could have maybe, but we don't have quantity. That's the issue with our array here that handles the inventory, is that we can store item into it, but I don't want to use a separate cell within our array to store the coins. I don't want that. I want to have a separate space for each coins. They should all be together. And I don't know how I would handle that, but that would save this variable. This variable wouldn't exist anymore. It would just be within our inventory. So that is a big challenge, because that way we could only print the inventory of whatever, like in the display stats, which is the function I'm working on right now. We could only display the items of whatever you want to display the stats of. So that way you can use it for the player and for the enemies, instead of just using it for the player, because enemies don't have coins, so it doesn't make sense. We could just put an if. Okay, that's the reality of it. That's the reality of it. The simple way of handling this is to say if self. Okay, so this is for the game. So this only works for the game thing. It doesn't work for other creatures and stuff. But I think that's dumb. I think this should work for target, like for anything. So you can go with target.creatures. But yet again, like target would be the creature. Yeah, I'm losing viewer. I think that's because, first of all, programming, always boring. Also, I did not even, how can I say, react to the fact that I had a new viewer. Did not, I forgot to salute them, say hello to them. So that might be why I lost them, but also programming. Not a lot of people like that. It's a bit complex, a bit boring. But hey, if you care about it, you can still watch this video. I mean, at any point in time. So self.creature.hp. So here, instead of that, I think we should just go with target.hp and level target.level. So that way we can use it for anything. Again, I don't force people to watch the stream. Like, if they don't like it, they don't like it. I'm not gonna stop. Like, it would save me saliva. Like, if I didn't have to describe everything I'm doing. But you know, it's nice to just have this out there so that people can kind of see the work I put in these games. That's the core idea, you know, it's that people see the works that went into it. It's not just AI shit. There's also work behind it. So target self.coin will be instead target.coin. But that won't work, because this is to show the stats of a creature, and creature don't have coins. But do creature have inventory? Do they have that? They don't. I didn't code the inventory for the creature. I created the inventory for the player. So the player has an inventory, but not the creatures. And that kind of makes sense. That way I don't have to print that for whatever. So it is the player inventory. So if the player has a sword, it is the player's sword. But again, there is a difference between a sword that is there and a sword that is on the... Yeah, choose an item to enhance. So you have that from the inventory. And I mean, you also need to equip your creature with something. So I think that by default our creature here has, yeah, no shield, no whatever. So that's good. Now we want to create a drop. Want to create the drop. So if you win, you get a drop. So action, blah blah blah, flee, invalid action. Please, enemy attack. Your creature was defeated. Game over. I think instead of your creature, like it'd be cooler to have like the actual name of your creature, which we can get with, and the enemy won't be that anymore. It will be just another creature. So that's something to change. That is something to change. I'm just gonna make that even bigger because first of all, I don't have people watching, so who cares? I can still see the chat, and now I can see the code better. So why wouldn't I make it like that? So here, the battle process will change a lot since that now our enemies are no longer array, so they have like names and shit. So okay, so that's a good start. Now that the enemy is a creature class, but this part need to be updated. So here we are printing like this, the start of the game, the menu where like menu, it's not color menu. So generate item, view inventory, choose actions. So choose actions. Was it not printing the updated stuff? Yeah, display stats, and game menu is a better name for it. Like choose action, kind of bad. Look at this. So we have both ideas. So here the thing I like is that the loop is within these actions and it stops looping once you're out of them. So it's not all within a big game loop. There is individualized loops, and I like that. That is cool. So choose actions. So we have what? Battle, heal, and exit. First of all, fight is shorter to type than battle, so if you're gonna work with a command-based system, you should have short command. Also, exit, heal, we don't have the enhance option anymore. So, enhance inventory, that's just, does it enhance the whole inventory instead of a single item? That'd be crazy. That'd be way bad. So, we need a select item. We need a select item function here to pick what item to enhance. So let's just see if we don't have already that. So select enemy, select. Yeah, we don't have a select item here. Select item. There isn't even a select item here. So yeah, pick item from inventory and apply the enhance process to it. So we do have the enhance function. Okay, so this one, self view inventory, choose an item to enhance, and here it does the enhance item. So that's good. It already does that. You already have the select item, but why have that be different? Like, why not just have it be select item, and then like, I think we will need the select item in other contexts, so it's dumb to do it like that. It's efficient if that's all I'm gonna do, but it's not if I'm gonna do other stuff that needs you to select item. So we can just pick that. The view inventory is there, and we have enhance inventory will be called instead select item or item selection. I like that. Item selection. And instead of self that enhance items, self inventory choice. If choice is greater than 0, self inventory. So if it's within the inventory, you return the item. Simple. And that, I'm just gonna keep maybe that line for the main menu. Menu? Yeah, game menu, enhance, boom. That is the actual enhance command that we are gonna use. And instead of enhance inventory, which is within self because it's our self functions, it's gonna be item selection like this, and we can say selected item. We can even be smarter than that. We can do this, boom, self inventory, this thing. So by doing it like that, we it works. It just works. It's pick from the inventory, pick item from inventory and apply the enhancement process to it. That is a good description for what this does. Yeah, that's a beautiful one-liner. Single line and does the job. Yeah. So here, now that we have that, view inventory, game menu, item selection. Let me just take a look at the item selection. Yep, should return choice. That's all it does. Self view inventory works. And yeah, the coins, I wish they could go into the inventory, but they can't. I mean, I could create an item called coin, which their power represent how much money you have. That'd be strange, because that way you could remove basically the coin item from the whatever. That'd be weird, but that'd be something I could probably do if I cared to do so. So right now the game isn't even playable. Like if I tried it, it wouldn't work. So let's just keep comparing both. Make sure we transpose all the, like, do we have the heal creature? Yeah. And like we need the option when we win a battle to have a chance of getting something. Chance to flee. So we aren't sure to flee. That is cool that we can fail to flee. Yeah, that is cool. That is very cool. Also, I'm kind of surprised that like this is inside of a while loop, so we don't really need, like, if you fail to flee, do you really need to lose life? Like, isn't it already your turn? Are you gonna lose twice the HP if you try to flee? Wait a minute, I have somebody ringing at the door. Probably a delivery. Oui, c'est Amazon? Ah, c'est Daniel. C'est bon, tu peux aller. And we are back. Here we have the flee options. That's fine. And the enemy was defeated. No, so your character was defeated. So your character is called, if I remember correctly, creature. So it would be self.creature. That name. So that be how you get the name of your creature that was defeated. So here, self.creature, that name. That be how it works. Was defeated by, so that way you get your name of the creature. But if you won, you defeated the enemy. Okay, so that is where should have a chance of dropping loot. I don't know how to, like, the lower the level, I think, the more loot you want to gain. And yeah, so yeah, and the loot power should be based on also the player level. So I don't know, generate item, generate item is there, so it's already there. So generate item, and so we could use that function right here. Generate item. It's already there. It's already perfect. We can use that. So here inside of the, it's like a puzzle. It's like a puzzle I'm creating right now. So let's take a look at the part where we win. You defeated the enemy, should have a chance of dropping loot. So generate item would be 100% chance of dropping loot, which is maybe not what you want. So here we don't need anything. This is gonna print something, self inventory up and item. So this already handles all that. So I just need to use self though, because it's a local function of the game class. So self.generate item. This is gonna give you an item. So let's give this a lot of chance to happen, because I want to gain item. I don't want to play the game, beat my first enemy, almost had my creature died, and gaining no item would be like a slap in the face. Hey, I have a viewer. Hello, how are you doing? I'm Amos Nimas, and I make games and stuff and code, and I use Linux, and this is Linux operating system. And there's a chat here, you can talk to me. And yeah, I'm working on this game. I'm gonna show you what it looks like in a moment. Right now I'm just trying to have it work, just the basic stuff, so that you can get loot and stuff by beating creatures and then acquiring these creatures. So here I'm gonna need to add the option to capture enemy creature. So if you win, that is the if you killed the enemy, but the enemy won't be right now. They are an array, but they will become a class. That's already done. I just need to change this part of the code. A lot of code to change. It's just a tedious task, so I'm probably just gonna ask ChatGPT to do that for me, since the code is already working. Or I could use the replace whatever from my text editor. So yeah, and here I'm gonna use the alive function that I created. It should be somewhere, I don't care. So yeah, no, it's within the creature function. That's where I placed it. So I have here is the creature function, that is the heart and soul of the creatures, and within it you have the alive function that tells you if the creature is alive or not. Every time I scroll, too much code, people give up. People give up. They see this and they're like, no way I understand this. No way I'm not gonna understand this. And I can relate to that kind of a little bit. It's intimidating, that's for sure. So here we just want to put an if. Was that so hard? That's not so hard. You just put an if. Then within the if, what you do, if you want to say generate a random item if something, you know. I like to use a dice function. But the dice function doesn't exist. So I'm gonna have to create it again. Like, it's a simple function to create. You can create yourself a library. Already have that at hand. I should have that, but hey, forget to make it. So def dice equal. That is the dice function. That's where it's gonna be. And how does it work? It's very simple. The dice function, it used the random function. Dot randint. I think that's the way to generate a number, an integer between 0 and 1. And that would be a dice that would return a value of 0 and 1. And we can just say return that. And you learned to code today. I don't know if our new viewer already knows how to code in Python, but that's kind of the basics of it. You know, that's a function. What does the function do? It returns a number between 0 and 1. Very simple. But let's make it better. So here we have the optional arguments at the top that we're gonna give it. So we have the value 1, which I should find a good name for it. A good name, but it's just gonna be min and max. I think that's good enough. And here we can reuse these value for min and max. And you know what's cool with that? By default, we can make max equal 1 and min equal 0. That way it will return a random boolean. Boolean is either true or false, so 0 or 1. It's binary, baby. It's binary. Easy. Everybody can understand that. I mean, it's a simple, beautiful function you're gonna use at a lot of places. but we can even make it better, one step better. So instead of returning the value, which is good, it's gonna work, we could add another thing right here and say, for example, this is gonna be a boolean, true or false. So this is gonna be a condition. So either if this is true, we return the value. If this is false, instead we return a boolean depending on if we reach 0, which means that you can change the chances that you reach 0, which gives you the ability to make it randomized, but with you'll see. I'm trying to explain something that sounds complicated, but it's very simple. I just need to put a variable here that is going to be our condition, and I don't know how I'm going to call it, but it's a variable that's going to decide if this dice is A. Let's call it A. A is fine. A, I think, is a beautiful name for this, and by default is going to be true. And if A equal true, if you have a better name for it, once you understand what it's gonna do, you can suggest in the comment below. But for now, A is fine. A is a beautiful letter. Return. So yeah, if it's equals 0. So for example, I'm gonna finish the function. I'm gonna show to you how it works so that you understand it better, and we're gonna need it for this game. So if if the value, so here I think we should just, I'm gonna just steal that that thing right here and place that on the, I call it stealing when I move code around. I don't know why, it's just a funny thing. And here we can say our result equal that, so we can say return result. And here what we want, we could actually call this bool. That makes sense. So the boolean equal true. So if it's a boolean, it's either gonna return true or false, not a result, true or false. And that way we can rename the A here to bool. That's a good name, I think. I think it's causing issue because bool is already the name of something, so we'll see about that. But if result is equal to 0, then what we want to do is return true, else return false. I don't know if you're starting to see how this is gonna work. So each of these have default value here on top of the argument, so that way I can use it pretty much any way I want. So I could do def dice and then just give it 5, and that would not work. That would not work because that would make the minimum 5, but then the maximum would be 1, and that makes no sense. So what you want to do is have the maximum always be minimum plus 1, and I don't know if I can do that here. That'd be weird. That would be very weird. So I'm just gonna ask ChatGPT if that is valid code, because that would be very weird. Would that be valid code? The code snippet you provided for the blah blah default parameter blah 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 boolean parameter blah blah blah. So yeah, max minimum minimum equal min plus 1. So that way, if you use this dice 1 output between 1 and 2, dice 1 and 10. I just don't like how the fact that I placed the minimum before the maximum makes it that if you only give it a single value, it's not gonna be between 0 and that value. It's gonna be, so by default, let's make the first value be the maximum. So that way, if I give it a value, it's gonna be from 0 to that value. And that makes sense in my mind. That is good, that is acceptable. Don't you think it is? I do think it is. So, and if you give it another value, for example, -5 is going to be from -5 to 5. It's inverted, but with reasons, you know, because you're not going to use that much often. And then what I think in Python you can even specify like that you are doing like min equal 1. I think that's something you can do. I think that's valid Python code. Let's just take a look if ChatGPT mentioned that here. Roll equal false. Roll, that is interesting. Just return the range. So it decided to rename my bool to roll, which is probably a good idea because bool already means something in Python. So let's steal that from ChatGPT. Oh, I'm stealing a name. Which for dice makes sense. Roll equal true, return the result. And if return equal false, if result equals 0, return. I think that's gonna work. So dice that way. If we say, for example, 5 and roll equal false, that way it's gonna return true only if it's gonna throw a dice of let's go with 6. It makes more sense with dice. So you throw a dice, and if it lands on no, 5 was making sense. You throw a dice with 6 faces. One of them has a 0 and it go up to 5, you know. If you roll a 0, then you win. If you roll anything else, you lose. So the chances that you're gonna win are 1 out of 5. And if I change that, 1 out of 10, 1 out of 100. So you see how you can use that to have like a way of making stuff harder to happen, less likely. Probability. So this is a probability dice. Let's even specify that. Dice function used for probability. There you go. And now, where was I gonna use that? I was gonna use that for if you beat the monster, how likely are you to get an item? Which should be very likely. It should be very, very likely. Should we give an item every time that you beat the monster, regardless of like, should I make it that you can beat the monster and not get item, or should you always get an item? I don't know. So for example, I'm just gonna do 5, so dice 5, and is lower than no, it's if dice 5 is higher than 2. So that way it has more chances than not to give you an item, but it's not 100% chance that you'll get an item. Or maybe I should not put that. You decide in the comments. Should I make it so that every time you beat a monster you get an item, or should I make it so that you don't always get an item when you beat a monster? That is the question I have right now. For now, let's keep it that way. Let's keep it that way so that there is chances that you... Yeah, you know, for testing purposes, I'm just gonna say you get an item every time. It's just gonna be more fun. It's just gonna be more fun. And the return here is returning the fact that it's the end of the loop, the battle loop. Let's try the game. Let's try the game. And it's not gonna work. I'm telling you, it's not gonna compile. Because self-name, it's just not gonna compile. It wasn't ever gonna compile because I did some change, and I don't wanna do these change manually because I made the enemy be a class instead of a function, and instead of renaming every places that I have like the enemy as a list, I want to have did I get a like frequency of this question? Not always get item. Damn it. Okay, I will change it even for me so that it's fair. I won't always get an item. But it's cool gaining item, right? I mean, and this game, it has a very nice feature. I created this whole game just for a single action that you can take in the whole game. It's called enhancing item. And that is the cool stuff. That is inspired by Wuxia novel, Xiangxia novel from China, where you can like enhance item. If you read A Will Eternal, very good book, I recommend. The guy can enhance item, but the more he does it, the more chance the item has to break. But the more he does it, the more rare and powerful the item gets. So, you know, that gameplay mechanic is the base of this. So now I'm looking for when you win. I should probably make a comment to make it better, easier to find the part of the code where you win the battle. But it's right here, so it wasn't that long to find, but you know, could have been simpler if I just said player wins battle. That way I can search for it and find it more easily. So yeah, like I said, if you look at the enemy here, it's an array somewhere. So yeah, enemy, that's an array. That is not a class, but I made it so that the enemies are creatures the same way that the creature you use to battle are. So they are both based on the same anatomy, if you will. They all have the same variables and stuff, the enemy and your creature. And since I made that change, I need to tell ChatGPT to please help me. Please change the enemy from being an array to be the same creature class as the player creature is. I don't know if it will understand this task, but hopefully it will. I'm not asking it to recreate the whole thing. I'm just asking it basically, you know, the part where it mentioned the enemy? Make the enemy be not an array. Because I have already the function that I made to generate the enemy as a class. So hopefully it's not going to remove anything else. It's just going to do the changes that I asked for, which isn't that hard. An AI should be able to do that easily. Let's create a new version. Let's paste that into version 4. That's going to be a flex because the paste function is something that I came up with. So you don't have that on every single Linux system, but now we can try to run it and nothing happened. Why? Okay, because why? It doesn't have the part at the bottom that makes it work. So let's just add that manually. See, you cannot rely entirely on AI. AI won't do everything for you. What? Did I lose? Okay, no, that's the last part. Yeah, so we want the main thing and that part. So I think that with that we're cooking. I think that I just need to paste that here. I know it's a bit lazy, but v4, we have an error. Player is not defined. So let's take a look at what player dem is. Player. Yeah, player level. I think that's player level. I think that's the only thing that wasn't defined because there is no such thing as a player level. I think what we are referencing is the creature level. So if I look at player here, player choose action, that is new. That is new. That is no, that was that new? No, player choose action. So I think that the issue we're having is that instead of player here, it's just supposed to be game because I renamed that array. But it made me see another error, which was generate enemy right here. Where is it? Generate enemy. It's no longer based on the player level, which, you know, I wanted to, that you don't want to have creatures that are way too strong for your creature or way too weak because your creature is gonna get more powerful as it gets so we want more of a flexible function right there. But instead of using like player level, which means nothing, we just want to replace that every single player level with we have a new viewer. Hello, I'm Amastimas and I'm creating this game that is inspired by Pokemon, Digimon, Tamagotchi, and some ideas I had of my own. So replace that with self.creature. This is our creature, the player creature, dot level. And that way, the more powerful our creature will get, the more powerful the enemies will be. Replace this instance, yes, save, and now we can try it again, and hopefully it's gonna work. But it's not. Game object has no attribute choose action. But it should. I think instead of choose action, what I'm referring to is the game menu. I think that's the thing I'm looking for. So game menu would work. Hopefully now it's working. Yeah, it is working. So we can try to play this thing that I was creating. So welcome to Tamagotchi inspired battle game. Very inspiring name. I'm probably not gonna change that. I'm gonna change that seriously. The name of our creature is Wi-Fi Woo or Hi-Fi Woo, which is whatever. I prefer to call it Wi-Fi. Let's nickname it Wi-Fi. So there is a function already to rename your creature, but it's not part of the command you can use yet. So I'm gonna add that so I can rename my creatures. For example, this one would be called Wi-Fi, self-evidently. So let's try to heal our creature, even though it didn't receive any damage. Is that gonna work? Your creature HP has been restored. You have 100 coin remaining. Oh no, I wasted 100 coin. So it shouldn't heal your creature if your creature is already healed, right? I'm not crazy, right? It shouldn't heal your creature if your creature health is already at maximum value. That's stupid. Okay, so let's go back to fight. And enter the enemy name. So available enemies. I'm not crazy, or there's nothing here. And I'm supposed to enter the name of the enemy. So that didn't work. But for version 2, version 3, for example, is this version broken? I don't know. Display stats not working anymore. So let's go back to V4. That's our core version, the one that we're gonna be working on from now on. So why isn't it working? The available enemies and self.enemies. So as long as we have enemies, it should work, but I don't think we are generating them. And now the big question, when in this game am I generating the new enemies? When does it make sense? Like when you start the game, maybe? When you start the game, maybe you want to generate enemies? So yeah. First of all, we have 2 functions to do that. So this one is going to go to the trash. Boop. And we're going to keep this one that returns a creature so that I can use this. Let's generate a single enemy for now to make sure that it works. So here are the enemies. It's empty. Generate enemies. And what is funny is that I think I have... Yeah, okay, so generate enemies is gonna be returned as self dot. I want that to be in a loop that appends to our array here. So yeah, I'm just gonna ask ChatGPT simple loop to insert 5 enemy into this enemies array. Sorry to rely on ChatGPT. I could probably figure it out on my own. But I'm lazy, and I'm just gonna ask ChatGPT since I'm just gonna. So here, what it's doing, it's having the loop be here, and it's appending to self.enemy. So I'm just gonna steal that loop and not put it inside of. Do we generate 5 enemies at the time every time? Like that could be cool. So generate enemy doesn't need self. I don't think it does. And here inside of this, here we already have like this thing. So we cannot use the enemy creature, create a new instance of a creature. Yeah, but this creature is going to be empty. So we cannot really put that here. So maybe spawn enemy, creating a new function, or just placing that here straight from there. I'm not sure. I'm just gonna make decisions and see how that goes. So append enemy, and here we create a new enemy. So yeah, I think that's a good workflow. That way we return an enemy inside of the enemy variable, and then we append this enemy variable to our enemies function right here. So that should work. Let's try it again. So at least now I should have enemy. Generate enemy is not defined. There is a reason why it's not defined. Can you guess what this is? What is the reason why this was not defined? Just put the dot, and now it should work. No, player level is not defined. Where am I using player level? Player level. Did I not change that? Don't you remember me changing that? Was that changed in the V2 maybe? Or V3? I don't know. I do remember that in... Ah, this one. Okay. So I changed it, but not in the right file. Mistake that can happen to anyone. Okay. We quit that and we try the game again. Game object has no attribute creatures. Does it? Doesn't it? Though? I don't know. Like the game thing, doesn't it have like a creature? Yeah, it does. So I'm kind of confused. Oh, I need to set the creature first. Yeah, now it's working. Now it's working again. So inventory is empty. That is fine. Now our creature is called Toxippo and has 100 HP, level 1, power 10. Very common stuff. And now we have our enemies and we can pick one, but originally you could enter the ID of the enemy to fight them, the index of the enemy, instead of having to type their name, because what's gonna happen if two enemies have the same name? Tell me, what is gonna happen? Not good stuff. So this one doesn't have that much HP, but it has a lot of power, so I'm probably not gonna want to battle this guy right here. But if I can beat it, I'm gonna gain more power. So I'm gonna probably need to add a shop, because the first battle is so nerve-wracking, because you're so weak and they are so strong. So this one doesn't seem that bad. Let's go with the Wonko. This one. And a wild Vuku appear with these stats. That's good. A battle begins between blah 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 and Vuko. That's fine. Your creature HP 100, and what are we gonna do? Attack. Of course we are gonna attack. That's not a valid action because it's A to attack. Yeah. You choose action attack. You attack the enemy with 10 power. The enemy attacks you with 12 power. Your creature has 88 HP left, and he does still have like above 100. We're gonna die. We ain't gonna win. Like, we can't win that battle. Okay, I'm doomed. I'm doomed. Yeah, we died. Did we die? For real? Toxippo was defeated. Yeah, we died. So why are we still playing? I have no HP. I can heal it? Oh, even when I die, I can heal myself. That's cool. I want to keep that feature. That's a cool feature. But yeah, we can't beat none of them. They are all way too strong. Oh, maybe this one. Oh, that one. A Wuko. Let's try to beat a Wuko. I'm sure we can beat him. Attack. Yeah. Attack. Your creature's HP. And we won. But after we won, nothing happened? Like, I don't understand. And our inventory is still empty? What? Enemy HP 7. Oh yeah, I said it wouldn't give us something every time. You see how that sucked? That's not fun. That's very not fun. I was expecting to at least gain something from this hardship. But nope, didn't get nothing. Also, fight should be just F. In this case, I guess. Would be quicker to type. What enemy do we have this time? 0 HP? 0 HP? Easy win, baby. Easy win. I didn't even heal myself. And what's gonna happen? I'm gonna win immediately? Am I winning by default? No. What? Battle begins between Tuxedo and Wumpu. And then battle is ended. Nothing, no result. It just... Oh, disappointing. I was sure that was gonna be an easy win, but I just can't battle him. He's not, like, he's invincible. That sucked. And none of them. I can't beat none of them. They're too powerful for me. And every time we defeat one, we want to regenerate new enemies. So that's gonna be part of... and here the exit command should work. So yeah, a lot of work to do. First of all, I want to add the rename function because I want to be able to rename my Pokemon to whatever name I prefer. So to give us this option, let's just go into the game menu. Game menu, game menu. Ah, it was there. So game menu. Let's choose. Let's create a new options, which is gonna be called rename, and that's just gonna allow us to enter input name and make that equal to creature self dot creature dot name equal input name. So now we should be able to rename him, and I said I prefer F instead of having to type fight every time. So let's do just that. That way the game is, you know, require less typing, which people don't like to type. That's just a fact. Nobody likes to type. Exit can stay exit. I like to type exit to exit. It's just, I don't mind. I don't mind. Heal is just H now. Enhance could be E. That way it makes sense that exit is exit. So let's print our new options. E, enhance. And we also want to rename our creature. So R for rename. I should also make it, I could also make it so that you have to write the full command rename to rename the creature, but that should work fine. And now we want to look very carefully at what happens when we beat the creature, and also why did one of the creature had 0 HP? So it should never be 0. HP is 50 plus something by default, plus default time 100. So why was one of the enemy with 0 HP? I don't get it. It's not even supposed to be possible. Look at the code. How did we end up with a creature with, that's the one we defeated. Oh, when we defeat it, we need to remove it from the enemies you can fight. But one easier way to do that is just to regenerate all the enemies array every time you win. That is a simpler way to do that. So that should be a function, like new enemy, self enemy, append enemy. So that's gonna be a function. That is not gonna be generate enemy. Actually, isn't that the generate creature? Like instead of enemy, doesn't it make more sense to be generate creature? Like these are the same. They work the same as the player creature, and we could probably reuse it for our creature, but we don't want to, you know, have a weak creature that is too weak at the start of the game. Also, I'm gonna, for test purposes, I'm just gonna make our initial creature way more powerful than it currently is, because by default now, I don't like it. I'm gonna say it, it's just not fun for me to test this because we are too weak. We have no chance of winning against none of these creatures. So let's make ourselves just a little bit more powerful. Yeah, that way we're gonna see if the option to drop item works. By the way, you can talk to me in the chat if you have feedback about this, opinions. What do you think of this project that I'm working on? I'm gonna try to add ASCII character to represent the creatures later, but right now I'm just focusing on the core gameplay mechanic. Keep it minimal. So here we have that, and that's gonna be our new def spawn enemy. Yeah, that sounds like a good name for what it is, right? That way it spawn the enemy and our, yeah, and we need to source ourselves so that we can have access to self in this context. And here by default we want to, once we created the player creature, spawn creature, yeah, so equal, not just the function here, but this function, instead of giving it like having to type self.creature every time, that should actually be like, should all the creature be the same level as the player, or should they have different level? I think it makes more sense to just remove all that, who cares, and say it's gonna be equal, level is gonna be equal to level. That sounds dumb, right? That sounds like it's not how it's supposed to work. And instead of having like the creature level here, I can just say replace creature dot level. No, it's more than that. It's self dot creature dot level with level. Yeah, that looks way better. First of all, now I no longer need a level here. I'm importing the level here. By default, it's going to be 0. And up here, when I create the creature, it's starting to take shape. Don't you see it? Don't you see it taking shape? We can use the self.creature.level right here, and we can reuse that within our battle function when we beat an enemy. The fully restore HP, I need to work on that. Yeah. Don't heal if already full HP. Also, I want to have like a base HP for the creatures, so that if they lose HP, they can heal to their full HP, or at least for the player creature, so that even if you level up and you gain more HP and all that, you can still heal yourself back to where you were, instead of always returning to 100 HP, which would be very disappointed. Because you're gonna have potions that's gonna increase your HP. You're gonna have sword that's gonna increase your attack, and your shield that's gonna shield you from enemies' attack. But by default, you have none of that. So the first game you make is harder. So we have a new viewer. So hello, and what was I doing? That's my TD HD at its finest. So I was looking for when we defeat an enemy. Yeah, so that part I don't like for now. Sorry, I want to test that. Are we gonna get item? And is it gonna print that we're getting an item? So I'm gonna bring that there for now. And also we want to generate new enemy. And spawn creature is not the thing that takes the self creature level. So, but it should take how many creature we want. So 5. And if I go back to the spawn creature function, which currently is called spawn enemy. Wait a minute, spawn creature. Do I call it spawn creature or spawn enemy? I think these are creatures. They're not necessarily your enemies. So let's go with spawn creature. So we have generate creatures that generate a creature, and this one will spawn multiple creatures. So we can put an S here even. That'd be cool, so that we can look for spawn creatures, and we have this one, and the other one I forgot to add the S. Sorry about that. Spawn creatures. And now the problem with our spawn creature stuff. Sorry when I scroll too fast. I know it can be annoying, but here it is. It takes a value now, which is amount, and we can use amount here, and default will be 1. That makes sense, right? So here spawn creatures is gonna have a single 5 creature for the first round, or we could make 10, so that the first round you have more options, and after that it's only 4 creatures. And here, this degenerate creature takes the level. So we look at spawn creature. We should give it our creature level, so that it can base the power of the creature that it generates based on our current creature's power level. So far, so good. V4. What does that look like? Spawn creature is not defined. It is not. I don't know about that. What? Okay, what? Okay, spawn creatures, spawn creatures. These are the same. So am I supposed to define this before the init? Is that how it's supposed to work? What? Spawn creature is not defined. Oh, a scope issue. Don't we like those? So solution. Spawn creatures 10. Oh yeah, I get it. It's even dumber than that. It's not even a scope issue. Look at this. Self dot. Self dot. That is a very common issue for programmer, but yeah, there's nothing you can do about it. So now the game starts. We have Vu Haju. Let's rename it, shall we? His new name is gonna be. What is his new name gonna be? You choose. You choose. Otherwise, I'm gonna pick a random name. Okay. I let you type in the chat below if somebody wanna type. Otherwise, it's gonna be Shreyas. There it is. That's gonna be a creature name. There it is. Did it work? It did work. I updated the name of the creature. And now let's go battle. So fight. No, it's just F now. Makes sense. Perfect. I love it. I still don't like the fact that I need to type the full name of the creature to select the creature. I hate that. I'm gonna change that very soon. Don't worry. Don't worry. That is unacceptable. But for now, damn, these creatures are powerful. We need to look for the weaklings. Damn, they are so powerful. Are they based on our stats? Oh no, that's because we're level 2. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, so that's bad. That's just... we can't have that. So, by the way, there's no exit function here. I hate that. Okay, so I picked a fight with a random enemy. Still no exit function. Don't like that. Need to add that everywhere. But for now, we just need to update the level of our creature to make it appear weaker than it actually is. So do we pick level 0 or level 1 for our own creature? The lower the level we pick, the more easy it's gonna be. So level 0 it is. Yeah. And now I need to rename. Tazali is a nice name for a creature, isn't it? Isn't it? Yeah, it is. It is. So fight. F. I should make it so that it works with both the full command, fight, and both with just F. Both would work fine. Like that you have the options to type the full command or just the single letter version. So which one do we battle? Liquido looks very weak, but they all look very weak. But I think I'm just gonna battle Liquido right here. Easy win. Easy win, which is what we want. We just want to gain some items because the core of this game exists solely for the item system that I created. So we want some items. Your creature has 100. By the way, it's impressive that with a game like that, with a stream where so detailed, where I show code and all that, that I have 3 viewers that are still watching, because streams where people code don't get views on YouTube. First of all, that's just a fact. And also games without graphics for YouTube, which is a video platform, like it's crazy, crazy. So now do we flee or do we attack? That's a joke. Of course we attack. And you attack the enemy with 20 power. The enemy attack you with 12 powers. And the enemy have 50 life points left, and we have 138, which is good enough for us. Attack again, attack. What happened? Is not defined. You know what happened? Tell me in the comment. Do you know what happened? Because I know. I know. I know. Before I do it, do you know what it is? Self.spawn creature. Forgot the damn dot self. No issue, no problem. You see, that's why I gave myself a little bit more power than the opponents, because we're gonna have to test drive this thing to make sure it works. So weak enemy that would be quick to defeat here might be Querelle. Querelle? Do I pronounce that correctly? I don't know. Those are fictitious. Oh, I have a call. Wait a minute. Can I make this be muted? Wait a minute. Just for the time of the call. Okay, I ended my call. That wasn't too long. Where's my item? Where's my item? I am pissed. I did all this just to try to get a single item, and it's not there because that's part of that's part of the game. Gaining items is part of the game. Common sword. So we have a common sword, but nothing in the inventory is being printed. Why? I don't know. Let's take a look at it. E for exit. Choose an item number to enhance. So we have the common sword. It is there. We have it. So the item number is 1, right? And what happened? There is too much stuff on screen. I should probably use the clear comment to clear the screens once in a while. But right now, let's just take a look. Choose an item to enhance. Enhance succeed. New power of common sword is 16. Oh, now we have the power. So much power. And what happened if I heal myself? Is it just gonna give me 100 HP? Like, can I heal myself? No, it reduced my HP. I damaged myself to get healed. So you see, that's what I was talking about earlier. That's what you don't want to happen. You don't want that to happen. You don't want that healing yourself hurt your creature. Nah. Also, I don't like the name of this creature, so it's just gonna be called Bob. Okay? So Bob is gonna go battle now. Bob is angry because Bob just lost some HP by healing himself. So Bob is gonna battle, but also the level of Bob should have increased since we successfully won a fight. Also, we should probably have an XP level so that you don't necessarily level up at every fight because that wouldn't make sense. So maybe you would level up like every 5 fight that you win or something like that. It's not really a game based on level. It's more a game based on items. So I don't really care about levels. So we need to pick an enemy to fight. Let's pick this enemy right here. 0 HP. How is that possible? Oh, because level 0. No, still it doesn't make sense. Still doesn't make sense. So let's pick the weakest one. This one, the one with the less HP, and battle him. With our new sword, how much damage do we do? So attack, how much damage do we do? And your attack power is 20. That seems like it's not a lot. That seems like it was our previous attack power. I don't think our attack has increased, right? You attack the enemy with 20 power. Yeah, our power didn't increase. So something's wrong here. So V4, let's take a look at the battle process. Why didn't our attack power increase? Attack power. Power! Enemy attack self creature that attack. Yeah, but that plus our inventory, yeah, right? So our creature, when we win a sword, so part of printing the inventory, so here it successfully printed inventory, the content that we have in our inventory. So view inventory, item name and stuff. So view inventory seems to be working fine, but for some reason in the game menu it is not working correctly. So display stats, and then where is our inventory? So comments. So display stats would be the part where we view our inventory. So where is display stats? First of all, display stats. Do we have display stat? Display stats. There it is. So that is within the creature stuff. And it should not print inventory because it doesn't have... Okay, so that is the creature inventory. So our sword was not equipped. Our sword was not equipped. So how do we make it so that we can equip stuff to our creature? Oh, we need to create that. The whole equip system. We need to make that happen. Okay. So I should probably have like... I could have. That's a decision I need to make right now. I could have a page where I have like all the items. You pick one and then you decide what you do with it, or you decide what you do and then you pick the item. I think I prefer like deciding what I do and then pick the item. So that way, how it would work, it's similar to the enhance item, where you have the inventory and then what you do with it, but this time is for equipping your creature. So equip, we can't use the E key because it's already taken by enhance. So what is it gonna be? Equip. Makes sense to me, right? I'm probably gonna search for a synonym. Synonym. Equip. So we can choose fit, array, arm, stock, encounter, outfit, dress, fit out, issue, attire, provide. They're all bad. Pick, maybe pick, give. Give is good. Give. Since you give it to your creature. That is so smart. I'm gonna run out of letter soon though. Give. So you give that to your creature. You need to understand that, yeah. So instead of enhance item, it's gonna be give item. And how that's gonna work is that if you have an item, it should return it to your inventory, right? It shouldn't destroy it, right? If your creature already has a sword, it shouldn't destroy the sword that the creature has. So now we're back to here, square one. So def give item, and that's gonna work like this. First of all, we pass itself, we pass it the game function, and that contains all this information and the creature that the player has, and from there we want to make it so that you can give an item to the creature. So you already picked the item, so we pass the item to the give item function. That's gonna be item, and which is simpler, easy to handle, I guess, and that is gonna be the item from the inventory, and we need to make sure that the creatures receiving the item, which is funny, is that enemy's creature could theoretically have items since they work the same way as your creature. They are the same thing. They're the same kind of creature. So they have the code to have item. They just don't have a trainer to give them the item, which is funny. I think it's funny. So here we have the item, and now do we need to pass it to the creature? No, because yes or no. Because depending on how I make this, you can only give item to your creature. And I think that's how the game should be, but there would be a way to code this in a more complex way that you could give an item using this function to any creature, even those that aren't your creature, so that later in the game, if I want to make it so that enemies can have items that they use, I could make it so that I could give the random item that the enemy gives you to the enemy so that it drops the item that it's actually using. That would make more sense, maybe. But for now, let's keep it simple. So self that creature that whatever. So self that creature. That's sword. So if self that creature that sword is not none, is not null, by default it is. By default it is set to be, if you look at the creature stuff right here, and I look at the sword should be none. So none, technically, I think, can, like, if I just say if that, and that is none, it will return false. So I think that should return false currently if you don't have a sword. And also there is an and. Python and are easy. You just type and. People love that. Every programming language should be like that because people love that. People don't like having to type that. It doesn't even work, I think, in Python. I personally like that, but people prefer and. Why do I prefer this? It's more eloquent. It's prettier. It doesn't have as many characters. So you save one character, one keystroke, which is, something. So if your creature has a sword and length of, because it's not just sword that you give, right? So if the item is, first of all, what is the item? What is the item? Question 1. Item dot type equal sword. So if the item is a sword, or that's how I'm gonna do it. Okay, it might be done. There's probably a better way to do this, but that's just gonna be how I'm gonna do it. And there is an item of type sword inside of the item. No, what? Creature has a sword. Item is a sword. So what you do is swap them. But if the creature doesn't have a sword, yeah. So if creature has a sword, and else self that creature that sword equal item. That's cool, right? That's cool. So if your creature doesn't have a sword, you give it this item as a sword. If it does have a sword, that's gonna be a bit more complex because I want to not destroy that sword. I want to move it into the inventory. So the way to do that is right here, self inventory.append. I'm just gonna steal that from myself and boom, right here. So we append the item to inventory. So except this time we append the creature, that sword, to our inventory, which allows us to, now that we have the creature sword in our inventory, we can make our item be the creature sword. So you know what? I just noticed that either case, I make our creature sword equal to item, so I can just code it like that, which is prettier. Yeah, it's just that if it does have a sword, you add the sword first to the inventory so that you don't destroy it. Is that gonna work? I don't know. I'm not able to predict stuff, so now we need to make this works for shield. No, sorry. We need to replace sword with shield. Okay, and now we need to replace sword with potion. Can we have multiple potions on the same? It's crazy that it's called potions, because potions, you think they are temporary, but the way I make them, they aren't. So maybe it should be gem instead. Hi, how you doing? Yeah, Daniel, Hanny, how are you doing? Thanks for participating in the chat, by the way. I always appreciate when people at least say hi. I mean, I don't know. It's just a politeness. So we replace sword with potion for now. I'm probably gonna replace the word potion with gems later on. But for now, sword is cool. Cool code. Yeah, don't worry. Well, hi. Yeah, I mean, I worry. I want to make a game that is fun and relatable. Like, I have multiple games like these, like this one that is terminal based for Linux user. Are you a Linux user? That's a question I should ask more of my viewer. Like, do you use Linux or not? Do you know what Linux is? Thanks for the compliment though about the look of the code. I don't work as a programmer. It's really just a hobby for now. It's been for a while now. I've been doing this for about 10 years, and I'm gonna start soon to do a RAC, which is an evaluation of my skills, so that I can get some paper that attest of my knowledge in this domain. So yeah, do you know what Linux is? Are you using Linux? Yeah, for now I want to replace with potion all of this. No, I made a typo. Easy fix though, easy fix. I said that, but now I'm reconsidering. I'm just trying to get to this last part right here. Okay, it wouldn't be easier with Vim. I'm already saying that. Like, Nano's fine. Only feature it doesn't have is code folding, and I can live without it. I can live without code folding. So here now we have all the way of giving item to our creature, which is what we wanted. And we replace the item if there's already one. We don't delete it. But maybe we wish we had more feedback. So maybe just a print. And we're gonna use the F to say that there's gonna be variable in there. So we can say, for example, item was successfully given to, and now you could put the name of the creature, which is self.creature.name. That makes sense, right? And also, now I think that's it for now. I think I want to do another test run of that. Cool, man. Hope you the best. No, I don't. No, I don't use. I got to sleep. Watch it tomorrow. Yeah, good. Have a good night. Oyasumi. So yeah. Now V4 by V4. That's our fourth version. And by the way, if you know programming, you know that you should never do things like that, but I do, okay? But I'm just gonna do something very intelligent now, which is to start a git init. So we initialize a git repository here that is going to store all the different versions that we make and be like a backup system if you wish, so that we don't have to create different files for a previous version. You only do that if you want to easily transfer stuff from one version to the other, which in my case is the case. And now you can do git add all these files to the git repository, which is local. It's not on GitHub, it's not anywhere, it's just on my computer, a local backup. And finally git commit, and we give it a message, which is initial commit. Very standard, very standard. And that way we have a basic backup. V4, and we want to play it, I think. So our character is called Wiguko, and let's rename it to Daniel. That's gonna be funny tomorrow when Daniel's gonna see that in the stream. So now our Daniel creature is gonna fight because we don't have any item to give it yet, and we want to test that feature. So HP, which is easier to beat? I think this one. Again, I did not update the fight selection system so that I can just, whatever. A wild Rugafa appeared, HP 61, power 13. A battle begins between Daniel and Rugafa. Your creature HP 150 and enemy's HP 61. What do you want to do? We attack, of course. So you attack the enemy with 20 power. So far so good, but like the enemy attack you with 30 power. Where is our shield? We don't have a shield, but I hope that when we do have a shield, it's gonna reduce the amount of power the enemy has by the power of the shield, because everything is calculated in terms of power. So the potion have power, the shields have power, and the sword have powers. That's the system. It's a single value system for every item. I know, that's cool. So you can battle, and we won. And did we win something? Sorry for all the text on screen. I should probably use the clear comment. Like I said, I'm gonna add it at some point. So here is our problem. The inventory is empty when it shouldn't be, because we gained a rare potion. But first of all, oh yeah, because it's the inventory of the creature. It should be called something else. I don't like it. It should be something called equipment. I don't know. But not inventory. The inventory is the stuff you have, but not the creature. So let's just give it something so it does have something. Give it a rare potion. But if I give it the rare potion, there's no going back. I cannot increase the power of this potion. But whatever, let's try it. And we have a bug. Ladies and gentlemen, we now have a bug. So let's try to fix that. Why do we have a bug? Why the bug? What the hell is going on? So I think it had something to do with addict. So item are a class. They're not a dictionary. And their type is item type. Item type is the last thing you pass to the item when creating it. So where are we creating item? That's a good first question we should ask ourselves. Add item. Yeah, that is what oh, we already had that. So item type, sort, self sort, items. That's not how that works. So the add item is kind of the give item that function that I created, except it doesn't work. But the way it's accessing the item here, yeah, that's just not how we want that to work. I don't think so. So yeah, not like that. Let's take a look back to make sure item type is just item type. So let's search for item in our code and see what's going on. So enhance item is not what we're looking for. We're really looking for the give command, which is this thing right here. And item.type. Our item was supposed to have a type. So I don't know what is going on here. We are passing the item itself, not like we're not linking to it. So I'm a bit confused. So are we just passing the index of the item? Enhance item. So we pass it the item here, and when we add it, we just add item. We remove item, I mean. So generate item, add the whole item. We don't just add the index. We don't just use the index for the array. Now I am very confused because that's oh yeah, I see the issue. That's a common issue. So yep. If shield, that's a string, so we are comparing strings. And if you want to be fancy, you could say that this is a string too by specifying it like that, but it should be. And now what I want to look at is the item type. So yeah, item type is gonna be either of these. So that should work. We have the array here where we select the item type. Maybe I'm gonna add more later on, but yeah. And in the battle, I just want to make sure that the shields and potions and all that are gonna be used. So your attack the enemy, your power is attack power, and attack power is calculated where? So attack power is creature attack, and creature attack is calculated with our sword, and we have creature block. So if self that shield, first of all, shield power blah blah blah. So we should be looking at self that block our creature that block. Yeah, that's never used. That block feature here where you have like 50% to block, and if you block you reduce the attack by the shield. Are we even using that like in the battle system? Battle here, and where are we blocking? Enemy attack, take damage, enemy power. So here what you want to do is have, so take damage here, is that where we calculate the blocking? So take damage, HP minus damage, but that's not how you want it to work. You want to have the block function use. So self.block, and that should return, right? The attack power. So initial attack power, self.shield, self.shield the power, whatever. And it's funny how, yeah, it's treated as if the shield is an array, which is funny because it's not. Crazy. It's treated like a dictionary, but here I initialize them as this, which is not a dictionary, it's a class. Are class and dictionary the same thing? Now I'm confused. I am confused. So yeah, Let's try it, play test it. That's how I'm gonna find out. As they say, mess around and find out. So I'm gonna mess around because I need to find out. So damage minus HP. You take the damage, but instead of taking the damage directly, what you want to do is take the block damage. So self.block damage, and that will return the updated damage if it was blocked, but we don't have output for that, so we don't know what's going on. So here we probably want to also have some kind of print function that's gonna tell you like the benefit you had from your sword. So I'm gonna go like initial power plus sword power, whatever. But right now I don't care. Right now I don't care. I just want to know if we block the enemy or not. So 50 chance to block my attack block. Attack power minus blocked. So that's the part of the attack that's gonna be blocked. Somewhere between the shield power and the... I don't get how the min command works. How the min function works. It should be just attack power minus shield. I don't know. Whatever. Who cares? Print. And we should also specify how much of the attack was blocked. Okay, so we want that to be something like that. Blockhead of the attack was blocked. Okay, so that's fine by me. That should work fine. B4. So fight. Want to fight the weakest one, which would be in this case this one, Sohilo, and we attack. We cannot block because we don't have a shield, and we won a common potion, which is nice. We can't see our inventory, but if I say, for example, we can try to enhance it first. Nothing to lose here. Select the item that you want to enhance, and we successfully increased the power of our potion. It's very funny how the number aren't rounded, and I almost want to keep it that way because that is funny as heck. The fact that I can get like 19.2000000 for the enhanced potion. But let's enhance it again. Let's try that. Did we fail or did we succeed? We succeeded again. Our potion is now very powerful, and it's gonna increase our health supposedly. Supposedly it's gonna do that. So if we fight again and we find the weakest opponent that doesn't, like, that's the one that we no, it doesn't remove the previous opponents. It doesn't, like, we have even more opponent now because we won against this one. No, but it shouldn't, all of these should have been removed. They're not. That's a bug. People love bug. I do love bug. They're entertaining, that's for sure. So this one looks Roraki looks easy to beat. So let's pick him and try to attack him, and we should win. But oh, we could lose. Your creature, like, we're losing a lot of HP there. So did we win something valuable at least? Common shield, baby. Now we're gonna be able to block the attack. So let's heal ourselves so that we have a little bit more HP. And let's enhance the shield first because it's a very weak shield with only 8 power. Let's go. Let's enhance the shield. Did we succeed? We succeeded, but let's enhance it once more. Let's be greedy. Let's be greedy. Did we succeed? Did we succeed? Yes, we did. 20 power for our shields. That is good. That is very good. Do we enhance it again? You decide. I let the chat decide. Do we enhance the shield once more, or do we leave it at that? Because the more you enhance it, the more chance you have to break it. And if you break it, no more shield. So I would keep it if I was me. So yeah, no reply. That's what I'm going to do. So yeah, we're ready for battle. But I need to give it to my creature first. So give it first the potion. That's going to increase our health. No! Oh, we were gonna win that one. Oh, we were. That was such a good start. Such a good start. So I think it's considered. It's fair to say at this point. I think it's fair to say that the items are treated not as classes, objects, but as dictionary. I think it's fair to assume that. So let's just assume that and move from there, because I'm very sad that we lost. So item type. We want to compare the item type. So let's take a look at how it does it inside of the creature stuff. Creature power, blah blah blah. Shield dot power. So shield power. But does it have a type that way? So shield type would be like this. Okay, so it's like a dictionary. Okay, I think I can fix this, but it is weird. Why? Why? The item are now a dictionary. I'm just so confused by that. Like the item here, you have the class. This ain't a dictionary. I'm confused. Let's ask ChatGPT because I'm so confused. Dict object. Is that a dict object? No, the item class is not a dictionary object. Okay. But when I generate the item, it becomes one? I don't get it. Like generate item. Do I use even the item class? I think I don't even use it. I think that's the big issue that I have, is that I'm not even using it. I just enhance item, generate item. So here, item type. Am I even using the item class? Oh, no, I'm creating the item as a dictionary. Okay, so I don't even need the item class. Items don't need to be a class. That makes sense. I don't mind that it is not a class. I can give up on that. And the name, it has a name now and stuff. So it is a dictionary. It is a dictionary. That is fascinating. Fascinating here. You have name, item, name, and all that. It's all working as it's just the give function that needs to be updated to account for the fact that it is a dictionary. Now we know. So give item. There it is. I think that's gonna work. I think that's the only change really that I need to add to that. So it's gonna be an easy fix. So type here, once again, it is just part of a dictionary. Dictionary are very cool. I love them. Like Lua, I used to make game in Lua, and everything in Lua is a dictionary. So fight, now it's gonna work. I'm just gonna fix the other bug that we had first. Bug fixing first, because that way it's gonna work. When you add creature, spawn creature, you want to empty the creature array first. So how to clear that array before appending to it. Remove all item in the array. There it is. So that way, enemies that clear. So generate enemy, so we can clear all the enemies before appending. There it is. Ain't that cool? So that now, fight. What is the name of our character? We'll see. I didn't have the time to read it. We want to fight this one. So, but I don't know if the generate enemy makes sure that every enemy has a unique name. So that doesn't make sense. What's gonna happen when two enemies are gonna have the same name? You tell me. Probably nothing good. So we want to attack, of course. And we have 20 power. It's gonna die, and we're gonna gain it should be in color. This, first of all, even though it's just text, it doesn't mean that it cannot have color. So this is ugly. I don't like that. I want color. Uncommon shield, power 16. So at least we have a shield, which is great. And it's uncommon, which is even greater. So we can enhance it first. Choose the shield. And did we fail? Did we succeed or did we fail? We succeeded, and our shield is even more powerful. One more enhancement, you say? Here you go. No, the shield was destroyed. I was too greedy. We destroyed our shield. Ah, that was bad. Oh, this should be in red. This should be in red. Oh no, I destroyed an uncommon shield that was already strong. No, no, we need to fight to get another shield. Oh no, 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 no. That is bad. That is bad. We lost. We lost. Bad. Okay, attack. 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 Oh, we're almost died. I need to heal myself. So, did we gain a shield? Common shield. Okay, that's good enough. Enhance that thing. Yeah. Enhance once more. Okay, that's good enough. Do I leave it at that? I think I'm going to leave it at that. And give it to our creature. So now our creature inventory does have the shield right there. Enhancement 2, power, common shield. Cool. I like it. Cool. Very cool. So now if I fight... no, I don't want to fight. I forgot to heal myself. Oh no, I forgot to heal myself. Can I just go back with enter? Nope. That just started the battle with a random enemy. I really need a way to type the command like, go back. Ah, no. No. Okay, are we gonna be able to block his attack? Okay, so if I attack. You attack the enemy with 20 power. The enemy attack you with 21 power. Oh, we're gonna die unless we block. Unless we block one of this attack. We blocked! We successfully blocked! Oh, damn, that was so epic. And I like the fact that like the numbers are like crazy. I like the floating numbers in video games. We should have that more often, right? That's just great. That's just great. My HP is like 11.92000002. Oh, but I mean, it is mathematically accurate. Yeah, it is very accurate. So can we win this battle or should we flee? We should flee. First of all, if I flee, I can heal myself, which is a good decision. And now if I fight, our enemy should still be there, right? What was the name of the enemy we were fighting? Because we knew really, is it still there? So it did generate new enemy even though we didn't win. So that's not something I want. I want that if you leave a battle, you go heal yourself, you go back, you can still finish the battle you started. Right now, it's not doing that. It's just generating new enemy, I think, every time. Because I don't see the... No, Nuidi is our name. What was the enemy name? Instead of saying the enemy, it should say the enemy name. Like, it was Fukaki. Fukaki is still there. So it is still there. It is working. Okay, fine. So we can go back to our battle with Fukaki. And Fuzaki, sorry, Fuzaki. And let's attack him. And we blocked again. I should also print, like, you blocked that much of the attack. That's how much was left. That how much power you... How much damage you take. Like, so this is... the enemy attack you with that. And here we should have, like, you take that damage before you blocked of the attack. But for now, we're doing fine. We're doing fire even. So, attack again. We blocked again, but we're always blocking with the exact amount of defense our shield has. So that's interesting. Yeah, so we attack, and we won a common shield. Also, the power of the item you get should grow more powerful the more powerful the enemy are, I guess. That'd be cool, but for now, let's just enhance that thing. And so we can still enhance the shield that isn't in our inventory anymore. So it doesn't remove the shield from your inventory when it gives it to the creature, which makes me think that maybe there's a glitch that we can exploit here where we could duplicate our items by just swapping them. But let's just first try to enhance our new shield, which is a common shield that was more powerful initially than our first shield. So shield 2 was enhanced, but let's try to enhance it further. Because 2 enhancement is one enhancement is good, but 2 enhancement is even better. But I destroyed the shield. That happens. It happens. Colors would be needed for that though. I really need to implement color soon. So we still have our shield, but I also wish I had a way to list the item that we have without necessarily seeing those. Like, well, we need to see what happens if I equip a new shield, right? Will it duplicate the item? Because it's weird. I can still enhance the item while it's equipped. So let's try to fight this one. Attack your creature. Okay, so I block a lot of the attack, which is great. We gain another shield. I think. No, it's a common sword that we want. This is good. We didn't have a sword. So let's try to enhance it. Common sword. It worked. Can we enhance it again? Common sword. Oh, now that's good. That's I think it wasn't. No, it was destroyed. No, I didn't read it properly. So see, too much text on screen. First of all, I need to, and also I wish it would save the state of the game, but it's not. So I should probably ask ChatGPT to save that to a Python file that you can just source if it exists. V4 that. Add a load save system that's save the game when exiting to a py save. No, save the py file. That will work. And now when it comes to clearing the screen, every time you print the menu, you should probably clear the screen. So here we should use I think it's sys.system clear, I think it is, but let's be smarter than that and do import from OS import system, and that way yeah, that's way better. How better is that? Fighting should also, when it prints the enemy, it should also clear the screen, right? I think it should. So when it prints the enemy, so select enemy, we also want a system that clear. And you know what? I don't like that. I think that I should create my own function here. Def clear system that clear. Why did I do that? Just because I wanted to. Just because I could. So select enemy. Enemy. And here I'm just gonna no, that's not the select enemy function. There it is. I just wanted to use the clear function that I created. Does that work? It doesn't even look like something that should work, but it will. But it will. Like, instead of that, don't you prefer that? Ain't that better? System clear. What is going on here? Why the dot wasn't good. Ain't that better? Fight. Ain't that better? So that is better, I think. But the clear did add an empty line here. So no, it does have that by default, but it doesn't need to. So fight available enemies. Yeah, that's starting to look like something, right? And the battle should also clear the screen, I think. So if and the way you select the enemy, I hate that. Wait, let's see if a previous version of this had a better way of selecting enemy. Select enemy. So yeah, it would print the ID, enemy ID. But now the enemies no longer have ID because, it's just not the same process. So how do you display an ID for enemies that don't have IDs? So enemies. What is this array? It's creatures. So these creatures should have a unique ID, I think. That way you can use the ID to select the creature if they both have the same name. So yeah, what happens if multiple creatures have the same name? Who cares? That's a way I could do it. I could also use an index here. Yeah, equals 0. And every time it loops, index plus plus. And here I have the index and dot. And here you can select them by either typing the name, enter the name or index of the enemy. Yeah, so that theoretically should work. We should probably test that. So that way we don't have to give IDs to creatures. And plus plus, is that not valid in C and Python? I mean, plus equal 1. I hate plus equal 1, but hey, what do you want? Fight. Yeah, fight. And now what happens if I say 0? Invalid choice. Select a valid name. But it ain't an invalid choice. So what I'm gonna do is go to select enemy and see what is going on here. So if choice is nothing, or choice equal, yeah, we want a random enemy. And if enemy named the lore. So if choice for enemies, if you select the enemy. Yeah, okay, I get what is going on. So it's basically gonna pick the first enemy with the same name, but I think it's good that I give an ID to creatures, to every creature. So every creature is born with an ID. That's how God created the world. Yeah, I know. Terry Davis, rest in peace. The prophet that was talking to the gods of computers. If you don't know who Terry Davis is, he created his own OS, his own programming language, but he heard the voice of God that guided him through the process, giving him incredible programming abilities to create a virtual temple, which is Temple OS that you can try right now and hate because most people don't like it. And but it is an achievement. It is an impressive feat of achievement. That's why I have a tattoo on my arm of Temple OS logo. It's cool, but honestly, I saw recently somebody do a recreation of the Temple OS logo that was so cool. I almost regret that I didn't get this interpretation of the logo instead of the one I have, which is very cool, very nice, and it looks good regardless. My version looks good as a tattoo standalone that people don't know what it is, and I assume that most people wouldn't know what it is, but it's still a sword, and you know. So self ID equal, that's important. That is very important. No two entities should have the same ID. So I'm just gonna ask ChatGPT, how do I make it so that no two entities created from that class have the same ID? Unique ID. Like that's what I want. So here, creature ID +1, self ID, a creature last ID, but creature last ID +1. Increment the last ID of the new instance creature. So creature last ID, where is that? Is that outside? Like that's above it? So the class would retain that. So that's interesting. Like ID1, ID2. I did not know that class variable like this could be incremented on the level of the class. That's so crazy, man. Like that's so crazy. Oh, as soon as I used ChatGPT, I lost 2 viewers. That's crazy. As if I cannot as if I'm supposed to know everything. Crazy. So yeah, people really hate AI. Bad AI is gonna take over the world. You cannot be a good programmer and also sometimes ask ChatGPT for advice. I hate that mentality. I think it's like using Google to do a search at some point. Like you saw people do that before, and people weren't triggered by it, but because it's AI, it's bad. Okay. I just hope that's not how people think, but I know that a lot of people think like that, and you shouldn't think like that. It's a bad thinking way of thinking. Creature last ID +1, self ID plus creature. So here I'm supposed to create this thing called last ID and make that equal to 0, and that way every creature should have a unique ID. And if I go back to the select ID thing, select ID, select creature. I think this stream is starting to be long. Yeah, I agree. Select creature. What? It's supposed to be there. No, it's select enemy, right? Because it is what it is. That's just enemy. There's a difference between a creature and an enemy. Not all creatures are your enemy. So here, instead of putting index here, I'm just gonna put enemy.id, and that way we can even say like ID like this, and you can choose either by this or by ID. So you can pick either by name, and if it's not in the name, you look for the ID. So first of all, for enemies, that's good. Choice, that lower. So there's also if it's an int, if it's an integer. So we probably want an if is integer. Is integer in Python. Yeah, so that's good. That way we can do if is integer the choice. We know it's that, so that would work. And now we can put that there and say this time we want the ID here, enemy.id, and instead of choice needing to be lowered, it won't, because it will be assumed to be an integer. I mean, I don't have to do what I'm doing right now, but I will anyway to make things more clear. And return enemy. That is a cool way to test like if it's the name of the enemy that you're entering or the ID. I personally prefer that you enter the ID, so I'm just gonna the ID or name of the creature. Okay. Also, when you battle the enemy, and it says the enemy has attacked and all that, instead I want to print the actual name of the enemy. Like instead of the enemy attacked, I think that's boring. Instead, we do have the enemy name, right? So we can just use it. So enemy dot name. That way you with enemy power. Also, when we take damage, so we look at the creature, we look at blocking, was blocked. So what you want to do next is print how much damage remained. So that would be attack. Yeah, that's gonna be called damage, right? So now we calculated that, we can calculate the damage. equal and damage. There you go. And you can return damage. Self.name took damage. Right, so now we need to add colors. Now we need to add colors to that. And adding color is something I know how to do before. And yeah. So if you look here, we had this previous version of the game that did not support color. So we need to look for a previous version of the game that did. So all of them .py. And we are looking for this one, the color code. Okay. And we also want to transfer that. So which one had the color code? So ET2. Okay, that's good. We want ET2. Nano ET2.py v2 ET2.py. No, this one is called v4.py. So we can steal that right here. So that's gonna be useful because with that, what we can do is now go in our yeah, right here, for example, the attack was blocked, for example. So that's good. We wanna, that's a good thing. We want that in green. So we can do it like this. Call dot green. And after that, we want to reset the color because we have to. Call that reset like that. And just making sure, yeah, green reset call. That should be fine. And that is for blocking. Took damage. Like if damage is larger than 1, first of all. If damage is larger than 0. We print we took damage. Else we want to make sure we don't take negative damage first of all. Damage equals 0. So we took no damage. So if we took damage, which is not fun, we want to print that in red, I guess, because that is not fun to take damage. So call self took damage that red. Yeah, that way we know it's not fun to take damage. It's a not fun thing. That reset that way. I also wanted to make sure that when you fail and you destroy the item, that it would be in red. So that reset and call. Yeah, don't forget to say it's a variable. That red. And that is cool. That is a good news. You want that to be in green. So every good news is gonna be green. Every bad news is gonna be red. So that way it's easier to read. And call that reset. There it is. So now let's just try this version of the game. 5v4. So far nothing different, and that's good. That's okay. Fight. Enemy is not defined. Yeah. The ID of enemy is not defined. But it is for the name, but not for the ID. Enemy level, enemy power, and select enemy. That is interesting. The enemy is not defined. What does that mean? Because, I mean, it's gonna have an ID, right? Self.id equal creature last ID. Creature last ID plus 1. Since we create a new creature. So far so good. I mean, it seems to be, but now then you have like the enemy.id issue that I don't get. Enemy.id, self and enemies. And enemies is defined, so I don't see what is the problem. Yeah, at this point I just save time for the video. See if it can tell me. Why do I get enemy not defined in select enemy? It's a lot of code, that's for sure. The error you're encountering, name enemy is not defined, is due to a typo in your select enemy method. You have incorrectly typed enemy instead of enemy. Don't tell me that's right. Sure. I can't find enemy. Sure about that. Apparently I mistyped enemy. Let's just confirm that first. I did. It's a typo. It's a stupid typo. Okay. Fight available enemies. Let's try to fight enemy ID 2. Oh, no, he's too powerful. Let's go with 7. Right? 7, this one. Yeah, that one seems easy to beat. Invalid choice. Please select a valid enemy name. But 7 would be a valid enemy name, right? What is going on? Okay, for now let's just do the battle normally. Just see if the rest of the changes we made work. So attack you with, and we're just taking the damage. It should still print how many damage we're dealt, even if we don't block. So that's another change I want to do, because yeah, the damage should not be calculated there. The damage should be calculated here, like if damage is larger than 0. And here it should be, well, if damage is lower than 0, then damage equals 0, yeah. And we return the damage. And here we have the take damage part, where we take the damage, and we also want to print what the heck is going on. So if damage is larger than 0, which is going to be, yeah. There it is. So if damage is larger than 0, print that in red. Otherwise, we don't even need to print anything, because we're not taking any damage. So what was going on with the select enemy for it to not work? So we gave it an ID right here, but don't tell me the choice has to be, yeah, it doesn't need to be anything. So we give it a value. If that value is nothing or and, pick the random enemy. We didn't do that. Is instance choice an int if it's an integer? I think that's the issue here we're having. So if int choice, I think here that is not gonna work. So I just want to verify that the string contains only number. You know, and that's what I want to verify. So I'm probably not, choice is digit. So see, that's the actual thing I wanted to do. I didn't want to look for the variable type. I wanted to make sure the variable contained numbered, and the variable was a string. So the variable type, you don't care, as long as is digit. So that's the function I wanted. So now it should work. Damage 0. Okay. What? Damage larger than 0. Okay. So damage larger than 0. If damage 0, there you go. That's just a syntax issue. Easy to fix. So now we can fight. We can pick the enemy like so. So let's go with enemy 11. So it should be YouTube. Uloob. That's a funny name for an enemy. And attack. And self that name. Really? Self that name took 20 damage. Why self that name and not the actual name? That's crazy. That is funny as heck. And exit should always be an option. Okay, add exit option to every input menu. Thank you. And now the issue was here somewhere. And take damage, self that name. That is so funny. That is so funny. Forgot to say it's a variable. That is so funny. Now if I go back and fight, which is the weakest. Oh, I want to fight number 9. And let's take a look. Okay, and let's try to attack. Attack. Uncommon shield, we want a shield. So now it's working. Our character is called Fuma, and this is the other character, so everything looks good. I'm gonna end the stream right now for today, folks. Sadly, we are gonna lose this uncommon shield with 22 power for now. So yeah, this is the progress we did so far. And stay tuned for the next video. Maybe I'll make another video on that. Tell me in the comment below if you're interested in that. Bye bye. I'm gonna end the video now. You can like, subscribe, leave a comment. Always helps. Always great. I like to answer comments, questions and all that. And you know, subscriber count, it helps. Likes on the video tell me that this video was interesting to people.